You're listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome back to Something Cheeky, where we're discussing the movie Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
In the IMDb summary of this movie, they say, 4 teenagers discover an old video game console and are literally drawn into the game's jungle setting, becoming the avatars they chose. Which really only describes the first 10 minutes of the movie.
That's true.
Gives you no other information. This is part 2 of our coverage of the Jake Kasdan directed movie starring Dwayne Johnson, Karen Gillan, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, go listen to hear our most ridiculous predictions. In that episode, we read the movie synopsis, watched the trailer, made predictions. Now that we've seen the movie, we're going to discuss it. So if you haven't seen it yet, spoilers ahead. All right, Rosanna, let's get started. How would you rate this movie out of 5 total lives possible? How many lives do you give it?
I decided to give this movie 3.5 lives.
Why is that?
Mainly because one of the ways I judge a movie is if I would be willing / want to watch it again.
Oh, okay.
So I enjoyed this movie. It was a lot of fun. It was very funny. But I don't think I would necessarily buy it or watch it when it comes out on DVD. It was an enjoyable afternoon, but I don't think it had enough depth to be a long-lasting favorite. How about you? What would you rate it out of 5 lives?
A little bit higher. I would give this 3.8 lives. I couldn't quite go to 4. 3.5 seems too low.
That's very specific.
It is. It feels right.
Okay.
I rated it that way because I laughed the entire movie. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until the very, very end, the last, 15 minutes of the movie, maybe even less than that it got a little too, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it got a little too unrealistic for me.
The movie about people being sucked into a video game got too unrealistic for you?
It was the character interactions that got unrealistic for me. Before that, they seemed, the way that the characters acted toward each other and reacted to situations seemed like I would expect from what I knew about these characters.
Mm-hmm. It also felt to me a little too long.
It did go pretty long.
It was 2.5 hours, wasn't it?
I think so.
It was pretty long for a comedy, or I guess action comedy?
Yeah, I think they had a hard time probably cutting jokes.
That's true. It was very funny.
2 of the people are professional comedians. I imagine there was a lot of great improv there.
Okay, I'm going to slightly retract what I said about not watching the DVD just because I think the outtakes might be great.
Yes.
So I might rent it just for that.
Okay. I bet the commentary is pretty engaging as well. It's time for Best and Worst. Rosanna, what were your best and worst moments of Jumanji? Welcome to the Jungle.
My favorite moment of the whole movie was when Bethany, the character who is in Jack Black's body,
yes,
gave Alex, who's the character in Nick Jonas's body, one of her lives from the game.
Big character development there.
Well, and I didn't expect that to, even be possible. It didn't occur to me that could have happened. But also, I just love the interaction between those 2 characters. And it was just such a sweet moment in the middle of this, crazy, action-y comedy. It was just nice, you know?
Mm-hmm. As soon as she did that, I assumed that Martha, Ruby Roundhouse, I knew that she was going to be the next to die because she was the only one that had 2 lives left at that point.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
she's out.
Kind of figure that they were all going to lose the same amount of lives.
Though I read something later that said, I don't know if they filmed it, but they planned out a couple of other endings, and one of them was where one of them actually did die in the game.
Really? I bet that didn't go over very well with test audiences. You can't just kill teenagers.
Yeah. Maybe if they did film it, it'll be in the DVD extras.
Maybe so.
What was your worst?
There weren't many moments that I didn't like. I was very entertained the whole time. The 1995 version of myself was hoping desperately for a cameo from Bonnie Hunt.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Who played one of the main characters in the original Jumanji. I really wanted to see somebody from the other movie. They did reference Robin Williams' character from the first one, Alan Parrish.
Remind me when they referenced him.
So when they go to the place where Alex has been living for these 20 years, he said the shelter was built by Alan Parrish.
That's right. I remember that.
Right, so that's where that character was the whole time he was stuck in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that little reference, but I was really hoping for a cameo.
Yeah.
So what were your best and worst?
I actually had 2 moments tied for best. One was what I predicted in our first episode, which was the NPCs that repeated the dialogue until you got it right and asked them the right question next. I loved that so much. It was so funny to see, especially the little kid that did it over and over again and then ran off like kids do in video games and you have to follow them and keep up.
Right.
My other best was Bethany's obsession with having a penis. There were so many references to it, and everyone almost was hilarious, I thought. They were so funny, and she was, like, she wanted to Instagram it, and when she said bye-bye to it at the end, when she left the game, yeah, it was very well done. And I know that it's funny, because I'm talking about it like it was Bethany, even though it was played by Jack Black. It's hard to... They did it very well, though, because they called them by those names the whole time.
I loved Jack Black playing a teenage girl.
So
it was
funny.
Perfection. It was so good.
It really was. My worst was the ending. So for those of you who've seen The Breakfast Club and how it ends, everyone goes off and you're like, are they going to talk to each other at school on Monday? I highly doubt it, but they all seem pretty happy. That's how I felt about this movie. Like, there is no way they're actually going to stay friends, but they made it seem like they would. Yes, you could have a life-changing experience, but it's not going to change every single interaction you have after that. It doesn't change your whole personality in an instant. And I felt that was, for me, what was really unrealistic for the character development. Like, at least they should have felt a little lingering discomfort.
A little bit of awkwardness, maybe.
Yeah, 50% of them were embarrassed to be seen with the other 50% when they started the movie, and that's not going to change that much.
The relationship with Spencer and Fridge did make sense to me because they were such good friends when they were younger. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it would be as weird for them to start hanging out again.
I always imagine the sequel to The Breakfast Club being a 5-minute short film where they all see each other in the hall and kind of look away. This new segment is called Audience Recommendations, and it's pretty tongue-in-cheek.
I would not recommend this movie to online gamers that like to play devil's advocate and start all their comments with, actually...
Ugh, they're the worst. Some more people that I don't think would like this movie is anyone that posted a photo of their breakfast to Instagram today.
Not their kind of movie.
Who would like this movie?
I would recommend this movie to anyone that's interested in knowing their skills and weaknesses by tapping their chest.
I am totally one of those people. I'm dying to know what, objectively, my skills and weaknesses are.
I'm pretty sure cake is on my weakness also.
Some more people that would like this movie. The intersection of a Venn diagram where one circle is people that think The Rock would totally be their BFF if they met him. And the other circle is people that laugh at dick jokes.
I feel like that's the same circle, Nikki.
It might be a pretty overlapped circle. That's our episode. You can keep up with us on Twitter at SomeCheek, Facebook.com/SomeCheek, and Instagram at Something Cheeky Podcast. You can also visit SomethingCheekyPodcast.com to learn about our other shows, like our trivia podcast called 6 Degrees of Wiki.
Be sure to let us know if you have any suggestions for a movie you'd like to hear us cover. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider making a donation to help us cover our production costs. Just click the donate button on our website at somethingcheekypodcast.com. If you can't donate, leaving a review on iTunes also helps a huge amount. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Dig-a-da-dum, dig-a-da-da-da-da-dum.